Throughout this process, audience research has become a vital element to construct and sculpt the outcome of the final piece. Originally, market research performed through social media marketing and Web 2.0 services such as SurveyMonkey were to decide and narrow down the actual genre of the short film, as I had many different ideas for my final product and struggled to select one. Audience feedback involved questions deciding on specific stereotypes and features that are pinpointed within our short film. From this, I have learnt it is important to select and form a movie that is appealing to target the audience and cinema goers to gain traction to the short film. Without it, the short would lack appeal and fail. The audience research conducted was key to learning about social trends of the day and age. Therefore, I involved questions such as what would you expect to see within a horror genre, a thriller genre, an action genre, and a psychological thriller genre? And what would you like to see in such genres also? So the short film could include these elements that would appeal to the audience. And with the genres of thriller, horror, action being the most popular selections, audience feedback received was positive. Such results of genre choice led to a production within the process of mind mapping a story encrypted with these specific features that were found throughout the audience feedback. Moreover, specific features expected to be seen in genres, for example, action, the prop of a firearm, horror, the play with shadows, tense non-diegetic music, and cliché monster under the bed scenes, and thriller, the use of handheld camera work, which was all incorporated with our audience feedback. Handheld camera work was also effective to indicating a nauseous and on-edge watch, as well as a mind game scenario that is projected throughout the final short film. Audience feedback has also aided the structuring of the final outcome. Due to my creation of the narrative, it became hard to perceive the short film as a stranger to the film, meaning the plot twist and reveal of the murder of Officer Cradwell not only came as a shock, but as a major confusion to new audience members. I learnt from critical feedback conducted with my peers that the short film, as an earlier draft, had a palpable ending.
Was very enigmatic through the various edits that made it more postmodern and helped build tension. However, I felt the ending was quite confusing.
The editing was creative and also the jump scares were very effective.
The production process went back to the drawing board and I discovered I needed to include voiceovers or flashbacks that led to a better and successful outcome that were less perplexing but still entertaining to the audience eye. Therefore, the reveal of the murder became clearer and understandable enough while still maintaining a sense of enigma, which impacted in a greater appeal to the short film. Moreover, audience research findings were a determinant to the gender choice of the character. With a script written for both a male and female-led character, audience feedback was critical to choosing this leading character. The targeted audience were asked to select male or female for the protagonist, and results were totaled up. This was pivotal as the film was approaching a postmodernism 21st century production, embracing changes in media, meaning it is no longer as male-dominated. Finally, a private screening of my short film was shown at Arts Education, in which students were required to fill out a form from watching the film. Answers received were positive and pleasing, such as, I thought the character was enhanced by the sound effects and music created, which was encouraging as this was my first production solely creating soundtracks. Furthermore, answers received were, I thought the editing was powerful and that there was key iconography throughout the film, heightening the effect of the dark ambience that revolves around the officer and her taken life. Having edited for 10 years, I luckily had an established knowledge which led to the betterment of creativity, as well as the variety of available Web 2.0 devices and softwares, which meant this final course led to the growth of my media technologies and knowledge, allowing my piece to be more postmodernism, creative, and new. Online blogging was a key technology to the process and build-up of the final product. However, I wanted to develop my planning skills and therefore diversified into other media technologies, such as Wix.com. It was here that I perfected my film review and other related planning. Wix.com was key to developing a creative film review, taking the text from a plain layout with a video background to create a creative and styled postmodern outcome. Media technology such as learning the aperture framing and shutter speed allowed the construction of my film poster and photography to develop. This was essential as I had little understanding of the operating of a digital camera, and now I could construct and design a final piece. PowerPoint, Excel, emails, and bubble mind mapping Web 2.0 was another key criteria to the planning and construction. From PowerPoint, Excel, and emails, I could construct filming schedules and risk assessments that were needed to make the production as flowing and pre-planned as possible. Again, with mind mapping Web 2.0, this media technology was key to using research and positioning this within the planning of my own production. Mind mapping as a media technology was used to develop and construct the narrative and key elements that had to be taken place from my research into my final product. Media technologies to the construction and evaluation of the film have been tools such as GarageBand to produce original soundtracks, as well as Web 2.0 tools such as GoAnimate and Powtoon to present my production in a variety of styles. Another Web 2.0 device would be the SurveyMonkey, which allowed me to collect and gather audience feedback, statistics, and preferences to my short film, as well as a green screen effect, which was done through the Ken Luna key, which allowed me to present in another various way. Other media technologies were key to studying and the research of theorists that were used to indicate or highlight elements within my production to build professionalism to my final product. For example, Prezi presentations and Canva that document the theorist's works, thus allowing me to reflect on early works and guide the outcome of all three media texts using their works. Finally, to establish a professional outcome, media technology such as Final Cut Pro 10 were the component to building and editing my final piece. Such tools within the software allowed me to be more creative and experimental. For example, Ken frames which were vital to expressing important moments within the film, such as the Ken frame towards the phone. This is key to the film as it tells the audience to pay attention to the phone calls which are prevalent throughout the film, as this is others warning her of the mysterious figure outside her home. Again, we see this tool under the bed scene. The Ken frame pulls the audience towards the shadows of the bed, suggesting an unnerving key focus that pivots the film. Another tool would be the transition split frame editing, a media technology from Final Cut Pro 10 that allowed my shorts to flow in a more creative way and engulf meaning to the shots. For example, the Ken frame and transition split clip that transfers a road white line into a cocaine line that is being taken by Cradwell. This indicates the undertone of a blurred reality through the transition blending into drugs, which suggests a false reality from the drug overdose. Sarah Cradwell believes she has left home with her friend, but instead she is taking the drugs at home to then be murdered. This allowed me to become more postmodern, as well as transitioning the simulation of fantasy into reality. Moreover, the use of a bad TV injection tool allowed my short to include moments of glitches on specific areas within the frame. For example, glitches shown on Cradwell, giving the film a postmodern feel as it references to a TV glitch.
Another media technology that was essential to the build of the film poster and the film review was Photoshop. Through YouTube tutorials, I developed my knowledge, learning tools such as opacity, contrast, lighting tools, fading and blending. This could allow creativity such as the reflections on the knife that I would not be capable of finalizing without this technology of Photoshop. For the filming of my production, we also used the use of a glory and luma keyed layer. This could create Cradwell in a ghostly presence. I dragged the layer across, which gave a silhouette of Cradwell in a white ghostly presence, which is suggestive of Cradwell being a ghost, as well as the use of a prism layer, which could further induce a sense of a drug-like manner, disorientating light and colour within the mise-en-scene.